Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleHorror. Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook Jim here, the WrestleHorror podcast. With me, as always, my co-host, Donnie Hoover. Donnie, I don't see Pennywise. What's going on, man?
No, I'm at the training center again. You know, with this WrestleHorror, WrestleFit night, WrestleHorror night. It's WrestleFit night and WrestleHorror night. So I had to get my sweat on, get that ankle sweat going.
Well, we have a special guest with us on this episode of WrestleHorror. And he is actually at the training center as well. He is a wrestler in the Ohio area in the Indies. His name is Damian Chambers. Damian, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing great, Jim. Donnie, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Obviously, you guys can see that I'm here at the Now Training Center as well. I did the WrestleFit with Donnie. I got a little ankle sweat myself, so.
I thought Donnie was the only one who got ankle sweat.
Well, he was showing off. That's how he got ankle sweat. I was doing 5 push-ups and dying, and he was doing 15 push-ups with his feet on the top rope. I was like, man, I'm about to leg drop his ass.
That's for real. He actually said that. So,
I'm not one to talk because I'm not in shape. But Donnie, let's face facts here. I mean, Damian's in great shape. He can do that stuff with no problem.
Oh yeah, he had to do a little extra to get the sweat going because we were all like sweating our butts off, and he was still a little cold, so he had to do a little extra to get the heat up.
Did Onyx wear you out tonight, Damian?
Onyx wasn't here actually, so Donnie was the one that put us through the ringer today.
See there.
Actually, I take that. I take that back. It was Terry. Terry put us through the ringer today.
Now that I can believe.
Yeah. Yeah, Onyx is out doing a show tonight, so we told him we'd take over, and she grabbed the old clipboard and started telling us what to do, and we did it. That's usually what I do anyway.
I expect
she tells me what to do, and I just do it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, she knows what's going on. She's going to tell you what to do. I mean, so it just fits for her to take it.
All right. She's the real boss. I'm just the eye candy.
For those of us with low expectations, I say that in the most endearing way. But let's talk about our guest. We're not here to talk about Donnie or me. We're here to talk about Damian. Damian, again, welcome to WrestleHorror. And, like we said off air with before we got started, I've watched you down at Future Great Wrestling, and I've enjoyed your work. Who were some of your big influences when you wanted to start getting into wrestling?
So my big influences when I wanted to get into wrestling, I started really enjoying wrestling when I was really little. One of the guys that really, really connected with me, or I felt a connection to, was Chris Jericho. I love Chris Jericho. Eddie Guerrero was a big guy to me as well. Ric Flair, Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock, all those guys were just, they were gods, like obviously to a little kid and somebody who just loves wrestling. So yeah, I was a big WWF guy back in the day. Not so much a WCW guy. My brother was a WCW guy, so we were always competing between WWF and WCW. So just growing up, listening and watching wrestling, I loved the WWF. As I got into wrestling, I found this whole nother world. And I really started to enjoy just everything. Like the guys that I really, really admire today are guys like Alex Shelley, Jonathan Gresham. My trainer, Ace Austin, is amazing. Zachary Wentz had a part of my training when Believe first started. I'm trained at Believe Academy down in Dayton, and Zach is now known as Nash Carter in WWE. So I think I mentioned Trey Miguel has helped me out a lot as well. There's a lot of guys that helped me out that I just really enjoy watching, and it just continues to grow. My love for it just continues to grow, and I just love watching everything.
Okay. Those it's a great name drop all across the board. I mean, from some of the old school to some of the new guard. I mean, you've just had your influences and your training. I mean, who could ask for more than that? I mean, wow.
Right. Yeah. I've been very lucky to have been surrounded by just the best guys in wrestling right now, like the biggest up and comers and the guys that are at the places that I want to be. So it's just like I've been very, very, very like lucky to have been surrounded by these people.
And do these guys, when you see these guys, do they still kind of push you and say you can do more? I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely. What I I'm nowhere near close to my potential, and I'll be the first one to say that. But it's got the guys that are my trainers. Ace Austin, Aaron Williams is another one. Nick Jackson, the Rev Ron Hunt, Madman Fulton just started coming around. So, like I said, I have a really good circle that have been pushing me, and they know I can do so much better still. And I know I have a lot of work left to do.
like I said earlier, from what I've seen of your work so far, I mean, like I told you off air, big thing because you haven't your potential yet, and you're already doing so well in the craft that it's impressive.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. It just one day it all just was in my head to do this. So I need to make myself even harder. I come with that mentality every single day. So I really appreciate you because I know you've been coming around to different parts of my shows. You've seen me work since the beginning of 2021, really, since you're down at FGW sometimes. So I know you've seen me progress a lot, and that place has definitely helped me progress as well. Cody Hawk has helped me progress a tremendous amount. So I do appreciate you saying that.
And, I speak what I say, and what I see, and everything I've seen is great so far. And I mean, obviously, you've got something in there, or Donnie wouldn't book you, or would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely he caught my attention. And actually an odd story because I usually take pride in kind of keeping my finger on the pulse of what's going on around Ohio. And Damian actually lives in the same city as me and completely slipped under the radar on me for a long time. And I had no clue that he wrestled or was even lived in the same town. And oddly enough, I was at lunch with Justin. He's the owner of OWA, another promotion here in Columbus. And he mentioned him. He was like, yeah, he's like, have you talked to Damian yet? And I was like, who? And he was like, Damian Chambers. He was on our last show. He's like, man, he's got some potential. You want to keep your eye on him. And then so I started researching, and I was like, well, son of a bitch, he lives like right in our town. So, but he lives in Columbus. He trains out in Dayton. But the thing I like about Damian is he trains in more than one place. His Rockstar and the school there, I believe, is his main school with Ace and them. But he also goes to Cody, and he trains with Cody. He also goes to Skull and Bones up north with CK and Trey, and he trains there. So, and he comes here and he uses the ring and gets in some workouts and stuff. So, and that's one of the things I liked about him is he's training with as many people as he can to get the different, like you say, they don't do wrestling. There's not one right way to do wrestling. You can do wrestling many different ways. So the more you can train with the different people, the more you can learn, the better it is. And, he's got quality work, and he's a class act. Like I said, he comes and he's done the WrestleFit class here with us a couple of times just to get a little extra workout in. And he's always on the road doing different promotions and stuff. So, he definitely got my attention. And I have to admit, there was a little little bit of egg on my face that he was in my same town and slipped under the radar on me. But so yeah, he's got our attention now. We'll just say that.
Bad Donnie.
I appreciate that, Donnie.
That's until you
Um,
keep doing them top
so,
rope push-ups,
you know-
and then that'll change.
Um,
That's how I get her. I continue to push myself. So
there you go. I mean, for those of you that haven't been to an FGW or a New Ohio Wrestling show, you're missing a great talent. I mean, and I'm jealous of the build. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. You've got the perfect build for a wrestler, in my opinion. Perfect. Not heavy, not too light.
yeah, that's something that I really had to work towards as well, because when I started my wrestling journey back in early July of 2019, and I actually came from rugby. So I played and I always loved weightlifting and stuff like that, but it wasn't until like COVID hit where everything was shut down, and I had a gym in my house, and I just decided one day I'm just going to commit everything to this. Since I can't be in the ring right now, I might as well work on my body. So it's been something that I've really focused on getting better, and I've been trying to keep a good weight so I can keep that balance so that I can do all the things that I want to do.
Okay. But, some of the things I've seen you do in the ring, and your work ethic is impeccable. Anybody that doesn't book you is a fool, in my opinion.
I appreciate that.
So let's talk. Okay, so we've talked about Damian Chambers, the wrestler. So I got to ask you this: are you a horror fan?
I like some horror. To the fan that I'm sure you guys are, so you're probably gonna mess with me a little bit on some of this, but I will completely understand that.
All right. So what kind of horror have you watched? What kind of horror do you enjoy?
I've seen a lot of different movies. I've seen the Jasons. I've seen Friday the 13th. Freddy versus Jason was always pretty good for me. Like, I always enjoyed that one pretty good. One of the ones that I really enjoyed was, I think it was 28 Days Later, about the virus. That one. I really like The Exorcism too. Like, The Exorcism really messed me up as a kid. That one really messed me up as a kid, to be honest.
It messed a lot of people up.
Yeah. I just watched Doctor Sleep the other day, and that was really good. I really enjoyed Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, I actually did too. I was surprised that it was as good as it was. I mean, considering, but yeah, good move, definitely. So, have you watched any of the Conjuring movies?
Yeah, I've definitely watched some of the Conjuring movies. Like exorcism movies and demonic movies like that, and Paranormal Activity. I really love Paranormal Activity as well. Those movies actually like really get me, because like that's some scary stuff. So it's just like whenever I'm watching those movies, like I get really invested into those.
Okay. Well, there's a reason I asked these questions. And first of all, I'm a paranormal investigator.
Oh.
And second of all, the reason I asked you about the Conjuring movies is because next September, Donnie, myself, Terry, my wife, and a couple other friends are going to actually investigate the original Conjuring house.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So you brought paranormal up, and that's my wheelhouse. I mean, aside from horror and wrestling, paranormal was it, you know?
Yeah. Paranormal stuff that just really gets to me because like it's so crazy to think about those things. So I really enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, would you be interested in joining us on a local investigation if we can arrange one?
Absolutely. Please let me know the second that you have something and I will be there.
Okay, we got another person for Carnage, Donnie.
There you go. Yeah, I was just Gary say, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'd say I'll be there Friday and Saturday night for the lights out tour and all that they're doing. So I'll have to bring it up to them and see if, when they'd be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
let us
See what
do
we,
it.
and it's got to be an overnight type deal. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah, well, I
I've
know they're
got the
getting
equipment.
they're
The
getting
only
this.
thing,
Yeah, they're getting the second haunt done now, the hospital one. So I know they're working like all hours of the night, and Ralph and them are up like all night long. So we'll have to plan it a day probably or a night when they're not. So it'll be nice and quiet, I guess. Like I say, I'm a newbie paranormal guy, so we're going to be figuring it out. I'm just going to follow Jim's lead and go from there.
yeah, I've actually been doing it for close to 20 years now.
Hmm.
And I just bought some
What's
new
your
equipment.
what's your best
My best what?
what's your best story with the paranormal, your own encounters?
There's two actually. The first one, I grew up in Florida. Let me put that out there. And St. Augustine, Florida is a very historic city, is a very old city. And I up until about 2000, I was a skeptic about the paranormal. But my wife at the time, we were in St. Augustine on vacation, and she asked if we could go on a ghost tour. And I said, "Oh, why not? It'll be a kick, you know, nothing else." And I had a digital camera with me, and they took us to several different locations. And there was one location in St. Augustine where I snapped a picture. There was nothing there. I just snapped a picture of the house across the street. But when I looked at the picture on digital, there was a figure in the middle of this picture. And I snapped a picture 5 seconds later, and there was nothing there. So that right there actually got me intrigued and said, well, maybe there is something. I mean, I tried for 2 weeks after I got home to figure out an explanation for that picture. I emailed it to people and nobody could give me a solid explanation. So at this point, I call myself a hopeful skeptic. But I've investigated several haunted places. And the second thing that really stands out is Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a very haunted location. I took my wife there a few years back. They have a $22, I think it's 25 now. It's a 2-hour tour where they take you around the hospital and show you some of the paranormal hotspots. Well, they take you onto the fourth floor, which is where you can find the shadow people. And what they do is when the groups are there, they take one person, they have two groups in there, and there's, two sides to the wing. So one group sends one person down one end, one group sends a person down another end, and they go to see what they can see. And there's absolutely no lighting on this floor whatsoever. It's all ambient lighting. Well, my wife got about maybe 100 feet away and completely disappeared behind black. I could not see her. She's like she walked through a black curtain. And it's like, okay. And then a couple seconds later, she walked back through that black curtain. But she told me she had a tingling sensation once she was in there and she wasn't visible to us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is. It is. There's a couple of others
So
that
you're telling me that when I'm you're
what?
telling me that when I'm in Louisville, sometime when I get a chance to stay the night there, because I'm working OVW pretty regularly now, hopefully, that I'm gonna have to visit this place.
Oh, absolutely. I would highly recommend it. You can probably book the 2 hour paranormal tour. Well worth it. It's like $25. It's 2 hours. They show you everything, and you might see or hear something. I honestly believe that.
Now, is that the place with the fourth floor, or
So
is that somebody different?
Yeah, that's the fourth floor.
Oh, okay.
It's actually five
so
floors to the building, but yeah.
one of the first times I was down at OVW, I was talking with Al Snow afterwards, and they think Davis Arena is pretty haunted too.
Really?
Yeah.
Road trip.
So, enough about we. We're not talking about me. This isn't about me. This is about Damian.
Mhm.
I feel like I've talked more about me than we talked about Damian. It's like, man,
Yeah, but I like your stories.
I mean, hell, you
the
got his
people that are
nipples on
listening
your
going,
shoulder, for Christ's sake.
well, yeah, I mean, people that are listening to this show are going, oh shit, he's talking about paranormal again.
Right. Yeah,
That's
you're going to the Conjuring house. I get it. All right.
you're going, okay, get over it. It's exciting in my opinion. And then after the Conjuring house, we're going to Salem, Massachusetts. So
Yep.
I'm super excited for you. That sounds awesome.
I actually took my wife to Salem in April of this year for her birthday. The first time she'd been, it was the second time I'd been, and she absolutely had a blast.
Yeah. I've heard some pretty good things about Salem. It's very beautiful, especially during the fall. So I've always wanted to go during the fall, and during Halloween would be perfect, I suppose.
It's a wonderful time to go. It's expensive time to go, and it's a busy time to go.
I'm sure.
But it is well worth it. I mean, it's a phenomenal city. Everybody's really nice. It really kind of creeped me out how nice people are. And if you ever get a chance to go, you have to go to a place called Red's Sandwich Shop.
Okay.
And Donnie's seen a picture of the breakfast they have there. And I
Mhm.
remember this. I went like in 2005 again this year. And for $10, I got this plate I couldn't finish. I had to take half of it home back to my hotel. Bacon, eggs, toast, hash browns, pancakes. It was huge.
Sounds like my kind of place.
At $10, and the service, the people that serve are great. They've been there for like forever, at least 50 years, and just amazing food and quick. And oh my gosh, I mean, I want to go back just to go to Reds. I mean, that's how much I like it.
Yeah. If I ever do get out there, I'll definitely check that out because I love breakfast food. Breakfast food is my favorite food. I don't know if we're going to get to that as food.
Okay. All right. Well, you got breakfast is the most important meal of the day, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. So we've gone on so many tangents here. I don't know where to start or stop.
Yeah, I had a question I wanted to ask him
pretty-
though. Because he's still pretty young in his career, and he's only been in a handful of years, and he's already working a ton of different places. He works for he works for he's into OVW and AAW, and worked for FGW, and he's all over the place. He's staying busy, and out of all the places you've been working at here lately, what's the biggest aha moment for you that you've picked up?
I'll tell you my first one. The first big aha moment was a training match against Aaron Williams. So it was Zach's last day with us before he was heading up to Florida for WWE. and we decided we're going to put on a little student show just for us, just to have some fun. So we had matches, and I got paired off with Aaron, which was super exciting for me because Aaron Williams was a guy that I already wanted to work. And just while we were in the ring, I could just tell the difference of quality of opponent that I was in there with immediately. He pushed me, and he showed me that I can do things that I didn't know I could do already. And that match right there is what really gave me that I don't even know how to put this. It gave me that feeling that this was right for me. Like that training match with Aaron Williams was the big aha, my big first aha moment, in my opinion.
Very cool.
So, any other questions, Donnie? Because I've got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have to ask this, and it's just my curiosity here. Have you ever played a face?
Yeah. So Justin at OWA, we were just talking about Justin. I'm a face at OWA. When I first started doing shows on Rockstar, I was super babyface because, let's be honest, I didn't know my character yet. Coming into my own, which I'm still not there yet. I'm fully aware that I'm not anywhere close to being the wrestler that I want to be. I was able to kind of weave both in, try to figure out who I really am as a wrestler, and then figure out how I needed to react as being a babyface or a heel.
So do you prefer being a babyface or a heel?
I don't have an answer for that, to be perfectly honest. I think I've learned who I am for the most part. I still have a lot of character development that I need to do, but I think I ride a thin line almost, because me as a character, whether I'm or a face, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm a very aggressive person. I've lived my life as a very aggressive person. Not that I'm an asshole or anything. I don't think I'm an asshole. But it's the fight. At the end of the day, a wrestling match is a fight, and that's a fight that I want to win. So I'm gonna do what I have to do. And to me, being aggressive is the way to get there.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because of the majority of the work I've seen you do is as a heel. And I've got to say that at the last New Ohio Wrestling Show, I loved the way you came. You were very polite, asked for the microphone, and then just turned on the crowd. I loved that work.
I do appreciate that. Yeah, I was wanting to be a heel. I was like, I'm in Columbus. I'm in my hometown. How am I supposed to be a heel in my hometown? So I was like, I gotta come out nice, and then I gotta be an asshole.
And I love that whole interaction that we did, and I look forward to more like that because it was a lot of fun, and I think now that we both loosened up a little bit, we can do more in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I love getting everybody who's involved in the match involved in the whole entire thing, whether it's the ring announcer, whether it's a commentator, especially the ref. I love getting the ref involved. So I definitely look forward to more work with you as well, Jim.
Thanks. I'm anxious to see what we can do in the future, because the more I get into this, and I'm just as new as you are in this, to be honest with you. I started in, what was it, 2018, Donnie? 2019?
18, yep.
2018 was the first time. July of 2018 was the first time I ever announced a match. And Donnie's been gracious enough to help me, and I've talked to announcers, and I'm coming into my own as an announcer, as you are coming into your own as a wrestler.
Yeah, it's everything about wrestling is an art. It doesn't matter what position you play. There's an art to it. So I completely understand that.
Did 2020 take its toll on your fitness? Well, body slam the pandemic and get back in shape with WrestleFit. This innovative program combines all the fitness regimens you'll need to reach your goals. The WrestleFit workout will bring strength training, cardio, and the world of professional wrestling together in a fun, new, and exciting way. Have yourself a blast working out with dumbbells, kettlebells, slam balls, ropes, tires, and an 18-foot full-size wrestling ring. The WrestleFit workout isn't just for pro wrestlers. The WrestleFit workout is for everybody. At the Now Training Center, you can pursue your fitness goals and learn how to train like a professional wrestler without all the bumps, bruises, and slams with the WrestleFit workout. Go to www.newohiowrestling.com/training for more information, or stop by the Now Training Center at 625 Eastgate Parkway, Blacklick, Ohio, 43004, Unit 6137.
Okay. Well, since we're having technical difficulties and Donnie doesn't know how to work the internet, Damian, you are the serial killer in your own horror film. What is your go-to kill?
So my go-to kill, if I'm the main character in my own horror film, one of my finishes is a triangle choke armbar. So I would have to go with somehow getting somebody into a triangle choke, maybe throwing in the armbar as well, but making sure their head pops off.
Very nice. And I will tell you, that's again another unique. We've been doing this. We've been asking this question for probably 50 episodes now, and we've never had a duplicate answer, and definitely not yours. I mean, that's a first. So I love all these different answers, and I can see I've seen your submission hold, so I can see where you're driving at to pop somebody's head off.
Yeah, if I'm going for the kill, their head explodes.
So before we lose completely everything here, I'm going to wrap this up. How can people find out more about you, about Damian Chambers, about your bookings? Where can people find out about you?
So if people want to follow me on social media, it's going to be on Instagram, The Real Damian Chambers. If it's going to be on Twitter, it's Real Dam Chambers. So REALDAM Chambers, CHAMBERS. I also have a Facebook. It is a personal Facebook, Damian Chambers. I should probably start a like page pretty soon because I'm getting pretty close to 5,000 friends I'm allowed to have on my Facebook. But yeah, those are the three places that you can find me on socials, and I post everything of where I'm going to be. So
awesome. Damian, thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me and Donnie, even though the connections were kind of wonky there, you guys being in the same place at the same time. It's been great talking to you, learning a little bit more about you, and I look forward to working with you in the future, and good luck with everything you do outside of the other promotions.
Yeah, Jim, thank you guys so much for having me on. I'll get a chance to say thank you to Donnie as well here in a minute. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, I definitely look forward to interacting with you more often, especially at shows and stuff. So
definitely. So for myself, Meathook Jim, and Donnie Hoover, who's somewhere in the interwebs, and especially our special guest, Damian Chambers. We are the Wrestle Horror Podcast, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets, facebook.com/WrestleHorror, Instagram @WrestleHorror, Twitter @WrestleHorror, on YouTube at the WrestleHorror channel. And you can also find us on our website, www.WrestleHorror.com.